Hello, my name is Erich Hunter, and I'm standing here in a beautiful oak grove. And the reason I'm doing that is because today I'd like to talk about the use of wood for making healing pendulums. Now, wood makes a wonderful healing pendulum. And you'll see different healing pendulums on the market that are made of different kinds of woods. And I want to go into some of the properties of trees and wood that make them so valuable for the healing pendulum use. One of the first properties of trees is that they directly connect the heaven to the earth, and trees are alchemists. They convert ethereal substances like light and gas into solid substances like wood, leaves, and sugars. This process of alchemy is the basis of life on terrestrial earth. And when we're doing pendulum healing, we're doing a process that's very similar to the trees. We are taking ethereal things like thoughts, energies, etc., and we are translating them into the physical world to help people show improvements in the health of their physical body, to improve relationships, to improve monetary wealth, to improve your ability to self-express and be your true self. So we take the ethereal and we translate it into the physical, using our pendulums, in a process that's analogous to the trees converting the ethereal into the solid matter on the earth. When you study the pagan ideas about trees and the magic of trees, you find that each tree has its own particular properties. And in medieval times, this was known as the doctrine of signatures. So they would study, people would get to know a particular tree. They didn't study them, I guess, per se. They just lived with the trees and they knew about them. And based on the properties of that tree and things that they knew the tree could do, or certain shapes that it had, or certain characteristics, people would use this knowledge to help figure out what the tree was good for, how the tree could help mankind. And this was called the doctrine of signatures. So with this particular pendulum here, the Hunter Healer, it's made from a type of wood known as cocos wood. And the cocos wood tree is a very valuable tree because it grows in barren soil and it replenishes the nitrogen in the soil. So this is a very important thing because once this tree starts growing in a location where all the other plants have been destroyed and the soil is now barren because it has no life in it, these trees can reestablish life in the soil, and then therefore other trees can grow. Now, this implies that the tree would make a wonderful wood for a healing pendulum because the tree's role in nature is to restore life to the soil, and with the healing pendulum we can restore life to people who are ill or who are not doing well for various reasons. Another commonly used wood for pendulums is beech. And in traditional pagan cultures, beech was associated with the goddess and with wishes coming true. So pendulum healing is a form of magic where you're using your mind to help to change reality using the pendulum as a tool to do that. So if you have a beech pendulum, that's a perfectly appropriate wood to be using since it has a history with magic and with manifestation of wishes from Mother Earth, from the goddess. Alright, another property of the wood is that it feels very nice to the human energy field, to our touch. So if you hold a wooden pendulum over your hands, you won't get a harsh grating feeling. You'll get a power. This particular pendulum is very focused, like a laser, and you'll feel a very strong energy coming out of it, but it's not a harsh energy. If you have a pendulum that's not quite as pointed as this one, like a Mare Isis pendulum that's more round, the energy will feel very soft. And this contrasts with the metal pendulum, which has a harder energy. So I think that a very simple analogy could be from magic is that the metal pendulum is more like the athame or the sword. It's more for banishing, and the wooden pendulum is more like the magic wand. It's more for making wishes or desires come true in reality. Alright, some other interesting things about wood. the reason I made this video is because up to this point, the discussion of pendulums has been solely based on the geometry. And while the geometry is very important because it influences things like the radiostatic color and the properties of the pendulum, it is important to consider these other factors, which really have not hitherto been considered before, such as the process of alchemy being analogous to what we're doing with our pendulum healing, and the individual characteristics of the tree itself implying a healing purpose for that tree. Finally, a kind of a cool note about trees is that when they're alive, I can feel it right now standing here, they radiate this green plus radiostatic color, which is a very nice feeling. And this is the same type of energy that's emanated from a baby. And I think that's why women are so strongly drawn to nature, the goddess, magical arts in general. And it's because the trees are giving off this green plus energy, which is the same energy being given off by a baby. So women are just naturally attracted to this kind of energy. Now, men can be too, and it's not to say that men aren't, but just as a stereotype, as a general thing, you'll often find more women involved with these sort of pursuits than men. But for those guys who are here watching this, hey, thumbs up for you. Good job, guys. We need a few guys here. Okay, so this pendulum here, Hunter Healer, I use it all the time now, and I really love wooden pendulums. I have a large collection of wooden pendulums, and I'm using them every day. And I'm using them more and more. Discovering their functions, their purposes, and really enjoying their resonance with the human energy field and seeing miraculous results with them. If you don't have a wooden pendulum in your collection, I strongly urge you to consider getting one. It's really nice to have that option. The metal pendulums do work great, but like I said, their energy is much harder. It's more like a knife. It's more like cutting, for banishing, for removing, protecting. Whereas I feel this energy is much softer and it's much more delicate, so to say. But it's still very powerful, but it's just more subtle and nuanced in a lot of ways. And it just, if you're really sensitive to energies and you love energies, it's really nice. And if you haven't experienced this yet, I urge you to get a wooden pendulum for your collection, either the Hunter Healer or some other kind of wooden pendulum. And there are lots of good ones out there that you can have to complement your current collection. Because while the metal is great, and you can do pretty much everything with the metal, you'll find that there's a different quality when you start working with wood. Well, I hope this video was helpful for you and that you enjoyed it. If you want to learn more about pendulum healing, please check out my other YouTube videos, my website, erichhunter.com, and it's E-R-I-C-H, Hunter. I also have a new book out called Circling the Square of Life, Pendulum Healing. And I'm offering a class that's coming up soon called Circling the Square of Life, where you can work with me and get direct teaching about how to do the pendulum work. And the Circling the Square course is a gateway to my other higher level courses that I'm offering now and in the future. Well, thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.